All right, so today we're going to be taking a look at a Anthony Edwards build in the My Player Builder on NBA 2K25. So a couple of things I do want to start with. This was made in Community Day. We had no animation requirements and whatnot, so this was kind of just a blind guess at what I think might be a good Anthony Edwards build on NBA 2K25. And a couple of things as well. I also made a couple of mistakes here and there with this build, and we'll talk about it. And I still think this is going to be a really good build once you make the adjustments that you're going to see. So I don't recommend that you skip through this video because there were a couple of mistakes that I made with this build that I do want to talk about, but it's just a couple minor things here and there. So we're going to start things off with a close shot. Close shot's going to be an 84. 84 close shot is going to get you Paint Prodigy on silver. Now, when it comes to the driving layup, we're only going to have an 80 that's going to get you layup Mixmaster on bronze, float game on silver, and we get aerial wizard on Hall of Fame, and that's going to be because of our driving dunk. Now, here's where I made my first mistake with this build. This is going to be a 96 driving dunk. This is going to get you the elite contact dunks off 2. You need a 96 driving dunk for the elite contact dunks off 2. Now, as you can see right here, I get gold posterizer, but I could have gotten Hall of Fame. I have the driving dunk requirement, and I didn't put the vertical high enough. I didn't notice this at the time, so I'd probably just drop the agility just a wee bit, get the vertical up to an 85. That's also get you the small guard contact dunks, if I'm not mistaken. So you get Hoff posterizer with 96 dunk, 85 vertical. That's the only main thing I really messed up with this build. And as you can see, we'd also get a 70 post control, which is kind of cool for an Anthony Edwards build. All right, so now moving on to the shooting for the mid-range shot, we ended up going with an 87. This is pretty much a very similar rating I go with a lot of the builds that I looked at Community Day. It's going to get you the silver shooting badges range. So we're going to get Deadeye on silver, Set Shot Specialist silver, Shifty Shooter silver, Post Fade Phenom silver. So we're not going to be shooting super crazy, but that 87 rating will probably also help us get better jump shots. And once again, we're going to get all these shooting badges on silver. 6'4s do not get mini marksman. I believe it's 6'3 and under, but I didn't want to go with 6'3 for Anthony Edwards. I think 6'4 is a cool height. And all of Anthony Edwards' dribble animations are height capped to 6'4 and under. So I don't want to hear nothing about making a 6'5 or a 6'6 Anthony Edwards build because it is not happening. His animations are at 6'4 and under. We're going to have an 83 3-point shot, which is going to get you limitless range on bronze. It's actually dropped a little bit this year. Last year it was an 85. Now you just need an 83 3-point rating. So a lot of people that are kind of just making like ours that aren't going to have super high 3-pointer and you're going to still have some mid-range shot, which I recommend. The 83 3-point rating is going to be a very good threshold. All right, so now for the pass accuracy, we ended up going with a 78. It's going to get you versatile visionary on bronze, silver dimer, silver break starter. Versatile visionary is pretty much like a combination of needle threader and flashy passing and whatnot. So high risk, creative passes, and alley-oop. So this is going to be probably an important badge in this year's game because passing lane steals are really, really good. All right, so now for the ball handle, we ended up going with an 86. 86 was like a good cutoff last year on NBA 2K24 for ball handle rating. So I ended up going 86 because that was like the rating you would need for like Kemba escape and whatnot. Not sure if that's what it's going to be this year, but that's just what I went with in the builder just to put it at a safe spot. You can always cap breaker this to higher levels if you want to. We're going to get silver ankle assassin, silver handles for days, and silver unpluckable. Probably not the greatest thing for a small point guard build, but since this is a shooting guard, it's a little bit more of a two-way build. And I'm not trying to make this build as like the most competitively meta build possible. I really wanted to try and make like an Anthony Edwards specific type of build. Now, although we only have silver playmaking badges in this regard, on this build, we still get a 91 speed with ball, which is going to get you lightning launch on Hall of Fame. So although we only have an 86 ball handle, silver handles for days, silver unpluckable, we still get Hall of Fame lightning launch, which is pretty freaking cool. So we won't be able to dribble super crazy on this build, but if you want to do like 2-3 moves to just get explosive with it, you could definitely do that. Now moving on to the perimeter defense. Perimeter defense, we have an 85, which is going to get you silver challenger, silver on ball menace, which is this year's clamps badge basically, silver pick dodger, and we're also going to get off ball pest on gold. Now if you guys do not know, immovable enforcer is still in this year's game, but you need to have strength and perimeter defense to get a movable enforcer. So you probably had to upgrade the strength way higher than where I currently had it in the builder in order to get it. I'm not saying that that's something you should do for an Anthony Edwards type of build, but it is a possibility. All right, so now the steel is going to be a 73. With that 73 steel, you're going to get interceptor on silver and bronze glove, which is actually pretty nice for a small guard with only a 70 steel rating. Now for the block, we ended up going with a 68. 68 block is going to get you high flying denier on bronze, and you also need to have at least a 60 vertical in order to get the high flying denier on bronze. So at least we could get some sort of chase down blocks on this 6'4 build, which I feel like it was good to have on this type of build because Anthony Edwards is somebody who does get chase down blocks. We also ended up getting a 60 defensive rebound that's going to get you bronze rebound chaser. A couple of other things to tie up the end of this build. 86 speed. You could probably go higher if you want to use cap breakers. You could probably get it up. What's 86 plus 5? Like 91, if I'm not mistaken. Agility, like we mentioned earlier, you could probably drop it just a little bit so we could get that 85 vertical so we could get posterizer on Hall of Fame. That is, once again, probably the only super major mistake that I made with this build. And then, yeah, everything else, I think this build is pretty solid for the most part. I don't think there's any serious issues with this build aside from that. Again, 70 post control for the silver post fade phenom, I think is kind of nice to have. Anthony Edwards does get into the post sometimes here and there. Now let's talk about really quickly at the end of this video, the upload schedule for the rest of the builds I'm going to be putting out that I got from Community Day. So you guys are seeing this Anthony Edwards build, and then in order after that, we have Luka Doncic, Dirk Nowitzki, some lockdown builds, a 6'10" two-way stretch big that I think you guys might like. We're going to start talking about meta centers. We're going to talk about inside centers, outside centers, the difference between stretch bigs and traditional bigs this year, and I think that that's going to play a big factor on NBA 2K25. That should wrap up all of my Community Day content for the most part, and with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video, but actually, let's get up on out of here. Let's take a look at the shades of. So shades of, we do get Anthony Edwards. We also get Jalen Green and DeJounte Murray. We're going to come out of this My Player Builder, and we are going to get the build name of two-way 3-level slasher, which I thought was a pretty cool build name. Kind of fits Anthony Edwards pretty well. I think that's a pretty good archetype build name, but yeah, man, that is going to be it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed. I'm out, man. Peace.